This week on Vaticano, 50,000 altar servers have gathered in Rome for an international pilgrimage. Discover the Apostolate Military International, which aims to strengthen Christian values within the armed forces worldwide. We'll also preview Pope Francis's upcoming trip to Southeast Asia and Oceania. For this and more, Vaticano starts now. Rome is buzzing with over 50,000 altar servers gathered for the 13th International Pilgrimage of Altar Servers. Organized by Cotus Internationalis Ministrantium, this event gathered altar servers from around the globe, uniting young Catholics. Cardinal Jean-Claude Hollerich, president of the organization, explains the motto of the pilgrimage, "With you," drawn from the Bible from the book of Isaiah.
The altar servants, both women and men, girls and boys, they feel close to God. They feel the closeness. They also feel the holiness of God in their ministry. So they feel this first, with you, you is God. But then it's also a joy to be with companions.
I arrived with my group roughly.
Tobias Kiss is an altar server from Romania. He's thrilled about the opportunity to connect with other altar servers, meet the Pope, and share his experience.
I've been an altar server now for roughly 5-6 years. I love being an altar server. I get to be up close to the action that happens both in the church and during the Mass.
The highlight of the pilgrimage is an audience with Pope Francis in St. Peter's Square.
Grazie a voi.
Special thanks to you for coming here as pilgrims in order to share the joy of belonging to Jesus, of being servants of his love, servants of his wounded heart, that heals our wounds, that saves us from death, and that gives us eternal life.
Che ci dona la vita eterna.
Most of the participants came from Germany, with over 35,000 altar servers. Accompanying them is Bishop Johannes Wube, president of the Youth Commission of the German Bishops' Conference.
They have a new mission to go in their parish and live there this mission. And that will be, I hope, wonderful for the young people.
We like serving at the altar because we're close to the Lord, to Jesus. We get to be in touch, in sync with everything that happens at the church. We are a community. We're not the community that you see all the time, just walking around, holding rallies, barbecues, but we are a community of the soul, of a belief.
Sie bei ihrer Pilgerfahrt treffen zu. I was myself always a very fervent altar server. And first, I think for children it's very good, because sometimes the liturgies are a little bit long for children. But if they are altar servants, they have something to do, and they are important. So they feel that they have an importance. And that's in fact how God sees the children. They are important, and they have an important function for God.
The pilgrimage is a testament to the vibrant faith and dedication of young altar servers worldwide. Their time in Rome has equipped them with a renewed zeal to serve their communities. They depart with a strong message from Pope Francis to minister with an attentive mind, heart, and body, just as Mary did. Bringing the faith to the front lines, the Apostolate Military International, or AMI, supports Catholic military personnel worldwide. Established 60 years ago to promote reconciliation after World War II, the apostolate remains a steadfast beacon of hope and guidance. Admiral Matthew Borsboom leads AMI with a wealth of military experience and a profound Catholic faith, faithfully advancing the organization's mission.
We deliver strategic advice on the big questions, the questions on just war, on the ethics in the military domain concerning, for example, lethal autonomous weapon systems, killer robots, artificial intelligence. So these are the big issues at the strategic level. So actually these are the two pillars, individual Catholic military and the strategic advice level.
To stay connected and spiritually nourished, AMI developed the Catholic Military Connect app. This tool offers prayers, testimonies, and answers to faith-related questions.
We constructed this app which contains, say, the direct questions, very fundamental questions, and short answers. And besides that, we said, well, young military are looking for idols, so or icons or influencers. So who are in the Catholic Church are the influencers? Now, the saints. So we selected military saints like Francis of Assisi and Jeanne d'Arc. We have also prayers for military, specifically for military. To give you an example, a prayer for the enemy, which is, you could say, well, it's very strange because we are fighting the enemy, but as brothers and sisters, they still are brothers and sisters of the worldwide people of God.
AMI's reach continues to grow, with resources translated into multiple languages and initiatives addressing conflicts like the war in Ukraine.
What we do for the Ukrainians was to translate the app in the Ukrainian language. So it's now, launched for Ukrainians as well. And we also are starting up programs to see if we can assist them in helping to deal with moral injury.
With the Catholic Military Connect app and annual conferences, AMI stands as a pillar of support for Catholic military personnel, guiding them through the challenges of military life with faith and resilience. The Apostolate Military International hosts annual conferences that tackle the unique challenges of military life. This year's event in Kenya will focus on the impact of military service on families.
Hello and welcome to this week's Vaticano Updates, the most important news from the Holy Father and the Vatican. The Vatican reported a profit of 45.9 million euros in 2023, reflecting ongoing financial reforms aimed at increasing transparency and efficiency. The administration of the patrimony of the Apostolic See detailed this in their latest balance sheet. Pope Francis' summer break has come to an end and he's now resuming his general audiences. The audiences provide an opportunity for the faithful to listen to his teachings and to receive his blessings in person. The opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in Paris has sparked significant controversy, as it displayed what seemed to be a mockery of the institution of the Eucharist by drag queens. Cardinal Jean-Claude Hollerich, President Emeritus of the European Episcopal Conferences, commented to EWTN on the scene. He noted that while many have argued that it was meant to depict a pagan painting and not the Last Supper, it offended many Catholics. He argued that such scenes should have been excluded from the program to respect Christian beliefs. Pope Francis, along with Atletica Vaticana, the Holy See's official sports association, sent a message to Olympic athletes encouraging them to win the Medal of Fraternity. On July 29th, while in his summer break, Pope Francis privately met with Dennis Francis, the president of the United Nations General Assembly at Casa Santa Marta. The two discussed care for the environment, freedom of religion, and diplomatic strategies to enhance cooperation between the Vatican and the United Nations. On the World Day for Grandparents and the Elderly, Pope Francis emphasized the value and dignity of older people. He also granted a plenary indulgence to those who dedicate significant time to visit their elderly loved ones, highlighting this year's theme based on Psalm 71, "Do not cast me off in my old age." Thank you for watching this week's Vaticano Updates. Benedict Cedergren for EWTN Vaticano.
In a few moments, we'll be back with more on Vaticano.
Christianity is growing very fast, and how they practice their faith in at the daily basis, it is amazing.
Pope Francis, at 87 years old, will embark on his longest trip yet. In September, he will travel over 20,000 miles across 4 countries in Southeast Asia and Oceania. During a 12-day tour, he'll visit Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, East Timor, and Singapore from September the 2nd to the 13th. This journey, spanning 7 flights, marks the most ambitious international trip of his 11-year pontificate. The first stop on Pope Francis's trip is Indonesia. EWTN Vatican Bureau Chief Andreas Thonhauser sat down with Father Marcus Solo, an Indonesian priest and Vatican official, about the significance of the trip.
First, it is actually a diplomatic visit of Pope Francis in order to confirm and to encourage Indonesia to live and to enjoy the long-standing diplomatic relation between the Holy See and Indonesia. And the second aspect is a pastoral visit. And the Catholic Indonesia, being a tiny minority, is very happy, very grateful that Pope, the head of the Catholic Church and all over the world, is coming to Indonesia after 11 years of his pontificate, after visiting more than 60 countries.
After a 13-hour flight and day of rest in the Indonesian capital, Pope Francis will meet with the country's president on September the 4th and deliver a speech to political leaders at the presidential palace. The Pope will also visit Jakarta's Cathedral of Our Lady of the Assumption to meet with bishops, priests, religious sisters, and seminarians after a private meeting with local Jesuits. And the nearby Istiqlal Mosque are connected by an underground tunnel, symbolizing the promotion of interreligious dialogue.
You have been working here at the Vatican in the Curial Office of the Dicastery for Interreligious Dialogue. How do you see the interreligious dialogue in Southeast Asia, but also maybe what is the situation in Indonesia concretely?
We live in the plural society and we practice dialogue in various forms, and we know that Pope Francis has particular compassion or passion for interreligious dialogue. He has been doing so many things, and our country has always followed him in his interreligious dialogue mission, and they also take him. People of other religions too, Muslims, Hindus, Protestants, Buddhists, and Confucianists in my country, they take Pope Francis as model in the promotion of interreligious dialogue. And the mission of interreligious dialogue will be very central, very important during this visit.
Pope Francis will wrap up his visit in Indonesia with a Mass on the evening of September the 5th at Jakarta's Gelora Bung Karno Stadium to meet the local Catholics. On September the 6th, he'll travel nearly 3,000 miles to Papua New Guinea's sprawling capital of Port Moresby. On September the 7th, Pope Francis will visit local ministries caring for street children and persons with disabilities during his first full day in Papua New Guinea. He will also address local political authorities and then local clergy. The next day, the Pope will meet with the Prime Minister and preside over Sunday Mass at Port Moresby's Sir John Guy's Stadium. He will then fly to Vanimo, a city in the northernmost province of Papua New Guinea, where he will greet local missionaries and address local Catholics in front of the Holy Cross Cathedral before flying back to the capital city on Sunday night. Pope Francis will travel to East Timor on September the 9th. Unlike neighboring Indonesia, East Timor is more than 97% Catholic. In Dili, the country's capital, Pope Francis will visit children with disabilities, meet local clergy and religious in the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception, give a speech at the Presidential Palace, and preside over Mass on the esplanade of Tachi Tolu over the course of 2 days. The Pope's final stop before returning to Rome will be Singapore, the country with the highest GDP per capita in Asia and the second highest population density in the world. Cardinal William Goh, Archbishop of Singapore, emphasized the significance of the Pope's visit.
The theme of evangelization is very dear to the heart of Pope Francis. But his way of evangelization is really to proclaim the joy of the gospel, which includes welcoming people, being with the poor, with the marginalized. So in that sense, he will be able to promote greater unity and strengthen the faith of our Catholics, and also to inspire people of other faiths that the Church is not inward-looking, but we are actually at the service of humanity.
The nearly 2-week venture will be the Pope's first international trip in 2024. Pope Francis has slowed down his travel schedule in recent months as health and mobility issues, from a knee injury to recurring bronchitis, have forced him to cancel some public appearances, including his last planned foreign visit to Dubai. This summer, many tourists are braving the heat to visit Vatican City. Next year, an estimated 35 million pilgrims are expected to gather for the 2025 Jubilee. In the Roman Catholic tradition, a holy year, or Jubilee, represents a time of forgiveness and reconciliation with God. For many attendees, this holy year can be transformative, deepening their union with Christ and strengthening their faith.
It's a very important event, especially for the pilgrims who's coming over here in Italy, and especially here in Rome, in the center of the Roman Catholic Church. And there's really a spiritual significance for the pilgrim to come over here and, of course, to cross the most famous Holy Door that it's open for this specific and historical event, in fact, every 25 years.
The opening of the Holy Door invites Christians to make the passage from sin to grace. According to the Jubilee website, to obtain an indulgence, pilgrims in Rome can undertake a pilgrimage to at least one of the 4 major papal basilicas in the city. In 2022, the Pope assigned by letter the responsibility of planning the upcoming Jubilee to the Vatican Office for Evangelization. One of their responsibilities includes providing information to incoming pilgrims to give them the most fruitful experience possible.
This Jubilee may not only some people who already experienced the previous Jubilees, but also we didn't expect that many people, especially from youth, that keep on asking more information about the Jubilee of the youth. And this makes it so, it's a very pleasant, because we didn't expect that many youth could be interested in participating in it, but not only participating as a pilgrim, but also as volunteers.
A University of Arkansas student, Jenna Clusat, has witnessed all the Jubilee preparations.
After being in Rome for this past month and seeing all the excitement around the Jubilee, all of the preparations and everything that's going, all the hard work that's going into making sure that this Jubilee runs smoothly, I would love to come back with my mother and my family and really celebrate my faith with them.
But it isn't just Catholics who are feeling the excitement around next year's Jubilee.
I was not raised with any religious affiliation, but obviously coming to Rome, it's like the heart of Catholicism, and you just can't help but feel inspired and like connected to all of the history surrounding Catholicism that's around you, and a large part of that is the preparations for the upcoming Jubilee. In the month that I've been here, I've noticed not only just the construction, but the excitement of like the people here seem to be really preparing spiritually for the Jubilee, and that's something that you just can't help but connect with when you're here.
Rome began preparing for the Jubilee in 2022, following the Pope's call for the city to be ready for the anticipated influx of pilgrims and tourists. Construction projects are underway throughout the city center, including the transformation of Piazza Pia into a more pedestrian-friendly square. This renovation will connect Castel Sant'Angelo to St. Peter's Square. Additionally, Pope Francis has declared this year a time of prayer, encouraging pilgrims to spiritually prepare for the upcoming Jubilee.
We're trying our best to assist and giving all the information, especially help them in register, because to participate and part of the pilgrim, you need to register through our website and get the QR code. So this is a new thing for this Jubilee.
The theme for the 2025 Jubilee is Pilgrims of Hope. The beginning of the Jubilee is marked by the opening of the Holy Door at St. Peter's Basilica this Christmas Eve. Following a 500-year-old ritual, it will be the start of a year of much-needed hope. Hope doesn't disappoint, and we hope, whether you are in or outside of the faith, that you can join in on the celebrations of this upcoming Jubilee. We'll be back after a short break with more on Vaticano. During the summer, Rome endures intense heat, prompting most residents to retreat to the mountains, and even the Pope to pause public appearances and general audiences. To alleviate the heat, over 2,000 drinking fountains are spread throughout the city, providing free fresh water to everyone. These fountains are a defining feature of Rome's urban landscape, earning it the title of the City of Fountains. The origins of Rome's 2,000 fountains are shrouded in history, but the city has a long tradition of hydraulic engineering dating back to the ancient Romans. They constructed 11 aqueducts to supply fresh water to its inhabitants, one of which, the Aqua Virgo aqueduct, is still in use today.
We
can see how pure and healthy water flows from beneath the giant statue of Neptune, the god of the seas and oceans. The water, which emerges here in the heart of Rome, is sourced from an aqueduct stretching 20 kilometers beneath the city.
The fountains have a dual significance, both symbolic, religious, and practical. Symbolically, they represent the water of baptism and purification, symbolizing the rebirth of Christians. Practically, they serve essential daily needs, providing drinking water for people and animals and offering a place to wash clothes.
However, the fountains were not only a source of drinking water, but also a symbol of power and prosperity. Over the centuries, Rome's fountains evolved from simple watering points to astonishing and elaborate works of art.
From the 16th century onwards, especially during the modern age, the Pope sought to enhance the magnificence of Rome. They aimed to leave their mark on the city through grand projects. This legacy is evident in the rich palaces of their families and the numerous fountains adorned with their coats of arms.
Pope Urban VIII Barberini, Innocent X Pamphili, Clemens XII Corsini, and many others. Rome is home to several iconic fountains, with the world-famous Trevi Fountain above all. Built by Nicola Salvi in 1732, using the side part of the palace of the Poli family, it attracts over 1,000 people per hour and 5.5 million in a year.
The papal seal represents the continuity of papal history and is prominently displayed on various fountains throughout Rome. This emblem, visible on this fountain as well as many others, illustrates the role of the Pope as a patron who founded their construction. It can be found on numerous structures built during the era and serves as a lasting testament to their influence and contributions.
In this way, the Pope, as both the head of the Church and the sovereign of the Papal States, manifested his authority by providing water and commissioning the magnificent fountains that continue to captivate the world. These fountains symbolized political influence and the Pope's assertion of authority over both territory and people. These artistic masterpieces that grace Rome's squares were created by some of the most renowned artists, including Giacomo della Porta and Gian Lorenzo Bernini. Bernini's Fountain of the Four Rivers stands out as an unparalleled Baroque creation, prominently placed in one of the city's most important squares.
Piazza Navona con la grande fontana.
Piazza Navona's Fountain of the Four Rivers symbolizes the greatness and universality of Catholicism. The fountain features four great rivers representing Europe, Asia, Africa, and America, reflecting the global reach of the Church.
Di cattolicesimo, di universalità della Chiesa.
From the late 16th century onward, the Quirinale Hill became the residence of the popes. Pope Sixtus V restored the ancient Dioscuri statues of Castor and Pollux, which had stood on the Quirinale Hill since antiquity, and commissioned the first fountain to be placed at their base, supplied by the Aqua Felice aqueduct. The current fountain was installed by Pope Pius VII in 1818. Inspired by the beauty of these fountains, before you leave, don't forget to throw a coin in the Trevi Fountain.